Not being an American, I didn't get the same chances as others. Konnichiwa, it's Risa Pizza. In this video, we're going to talk about 3 things I did to get a product design job here in the United States. A little bit about me. I became a product designer without no design degree, and now I'm a senior product designer at Mothership. I was born and raised in Japan, and when I hit my 4th year mark working as a product designer, I made the move to Los Angeles, California. It was my dream since childhood to work in the United States. The reason was because all the innovations were coming from places like Silicon Valley, New York. I wanted to be a part of that. So throughout my career, I focused on that sole goal and made all the decisions based on that. The reason why I wanted to put this video together was because I was going through my diary from 2016, and it said, by 2020, I'm going to get a product design job in the US. And it made me think of all the sacrifices and hard things that I had to go through to get to where I am today. Since 2016, I applied to American startups and companies, and I faced so many rejections. Not being an American, I didn't get the same chances as others, and I really had to be strategic to achieve my goal, which was to work in the United States. In this video, I'm going to talk about the 3 things I focused to get the experience I need to get my dream job. So make sure you watch until the end. Number 1, focus on getting really good at 2 things. For me, that was English and product design. When I was 18, I participated in this alumni party, and there I bumped into a CEO who asked me a question. Risa, what is something that you excel at compared to 10 people around you? And I answered English. And then he asked, what's another thing you're good at? I didn't have an answer. And then he carried on saying that there's approximately 100 people in this room. If you're only good at one thing, you're only the top 10%. But if you're good at 2 things, you're suddenly the top 1%. Just focus on getting really good at 2 things, and then you'll be an unreplaceable human being. I looked for my second skill set, and I chose design. My college didn't have a design degree, so I had to find a way to train my design skills. I applied for Carnegie Mellon's exchange program, and that's how I developed my fundamental skills. Once I was back from the exchange program, I worked 4 days a week at a tech company to get the experience that I was lacking. By the time I graduated college, I had enough design experience, and also I was bilingual. This put me in a very unique position, and I was able to leverage and have more options during my job hunting process. Until this day, I think about what that CEO told me. I focus on the skill sets that is required for designers. Last year, my focus was to learn about microinteraction. This year, it's about data and design. So I've been picking up tools like Looker, Google Analytics, FullStory. I'm trying to get really good at understanding data to make better product decisions. In summary, if you want to get your dream job, you have to position yourself to become a unique person. In order to do so, not only focus on design, but something else, and get really good at those 2 things, so that there's nobody in the universe that could compete against you. Number 2, be strategic about your career path. Think about, where do you want to be in 3 years? How can you accelerate that growth? For me, for the longest time, my goal was to work in the United States. I worked in Japan for 4 years before I made that move, but for the whole time, my focus was to prepare myself for that day. One of the biggest and the most proud decisions that I've made during my career was to quit Yahoo Japan. The reason why I left Yahoo Japan was it wasn't giving me the experience to use English at work, nor to solve a problem that Americans are able to relate to. The app that I worked on was called Yahoo Transit, and we had 40 million users using the app. However, 100% of them were local Japanese users who were commuting to work using the subway system. So a lot of the problems I was solving was very unique to Japanese, and also the interface was all in Japanese. So when I submitted the portfolio with all that work, I wasn't able to get engagement from recruiters in America. So I decided to leave the company. I took 5K pay cut and I joined a company of 6 people as a founding designer. The product I worked on at the new Japanese startup was augmented reality social platform. So it was more nonverbal and visual, and that really attracted more engagement from the recruiters and designers in the United States. The lesson here is that be very picky and strategic about the project that you will work on. Predict what the hiring manager and the recruiters are looking for, and make sure you get all the experience you need to get the engagement from them. The third trick to accelerate your career growth is to create an environment that you have no choice but to grow. Put yourself into an environment that you have to switch on your survival instincts. To give a couple of examples is when I joined that tiny startup as the founding designer, there was nobody on the team that could design. So I had to learn how to not only build the best onboarding experience, but to come up with the branding assets, design system, user research process, all of these design tasks that I was able to collaborate with multiple designers at Yahoo Japan. I had to do it all by myself. So those days were really tough. I had to work 14 hours a day. I would go to design events and go up to the speaker and ask if they could mentor me because I had no clue what I was doing. But because of that chaotic, challenging experience, I was able to learn a lot of things within that dense year. Another episode of mine that really put me to an uncomfortable situation was when I moved to the United States. So at the time, I didn't have a job. I was freaking out because I'm the type of person who needs to have consistent income coming in. And being in a different country without a job was scary for me. I had to apply to 5 companies a day. Even though I hated recruiters' phone interview, I had to take those calls. And I joined multiple Slack community. I ended up applying to 25 plus companies. But because of that, I was able to get really good at job interviews. And at the end of the process, I was able to get multiple job offers. So in summary, in order to achieve my goal, here's the 3 things I did. 1, focus on really getting good at 2 things. 2, design your career growth in a strategic way. 3, create an environment that you have no choice but to grow. I hope you enjoyed my video. Please let me know if you have anything you would like me to talk about. Please like and subscribe and tell me about the problem that you're facing to get a dream job or to become a product designer. Before I go, I wanted to introduce the On Deck Design Fellowship that I joined last cohort. And it seems like it just opened up the 2nd cohort. And deadline to apply would be August 1st. So if you don't know about it already, check it out. There's a lot of cool opportunities, like learning from Wendy Johansson, the head of UX design at Amazon, and David Huang, the director of product design at Webflow. So definitely check it out, and also check out my other YouTube videos. Bye!